So today I'd like to talk about my long-standing interest in bombs and in fireworks. This is a suggestion of Richard Karras, one of the fellows who's been watching my new YouTube videos. He pointed out that frequently interviewers ask me about my interest in studying psychedelics, and I allude to my childhood interest in fireworks. So he thought it would be interesting to delve into that a little more deeply. When I was a kid, my parents used to buy 4th of July fireworks, and we would shoot them off in our backyard, and I loved them. The colors, the lights, the sparkles, the sound, the excitement, the danger, making sure you got away quickly enough from the firework as the wick was going down, as the fuse was going down. I liked the worms that would kind of slither out of those little cube type things. The ones that I liked the most were the fountains, and especially the ones that were multicolored. When I was a kid, I also was into chemistry, and my parents would get me new chemistry sets every Hanukkah. I reserved a little corner in our garage for my little laboratory. And I especially enjoy the colors too. I made inks, blues, reds, purples, browns. A lot of fun. Learned about gels. Also started learning about poison gases and ammonia. I like the smell and the thrill of making things like that. So as a kid, I also really enjoyed making fires. My neighbor friend and I would burn cardboard boxes in the garage. When nobody was around. We kept the garage door closed when we were doing that. And one afternoon, it was a big cardboard box and the fire got out of control. So we looked around for what to use to extinguish that big fire. And I just grabbed whatever I could find from the shelf and found a bottle of carbon tetrachloride, which is actually quite poisonous, and I threw it on there. So that didn't work, and I opened the garage to run to the front yard to get the garden hose, and there's a neighbor across the street who saw the flames and the smoke and called the fire department, but thankfully I was able to put it out by the time they arrived. So speaking about poison gases, my 9th grade science project was to make chlorine gas, which was used in World War I. By the Germans, and I made the chlorine gas. I had a poster which described the way it killed people, primarily through the lungs, with pictures of clouds of chlorine gas, descending upon the troops. The glassware became so hot, though, as I was making the chlorine. That the beaker burst and we had to evacuate the classroom. Nevertheless, I got an A on my science project. I started going to the library and checking out books on explosives, fireworks, bombs, those kinds of things, which at the time was freely available at your library. I learned that the basic component was gunpowder, which is quite easy to make. Sulfur, charcoal, and potassium nitrate or saltpeter. And the local drugstore also had a little chemistry section. And you could buy small amounts of quite a few different things. Magnesium strip for really bright white light, potassium permanganate, and glycerin for purple kinds of fire, cobalt for blue, strontium for red, zinc for green. Later on, I discovered a chemical supply house in Chicago that sent me their catalog, and they sold large quantities of everything to me, including liquids like sulfuric acid, nitric acid, hydrochloric acid. So once I discovered that company, I was really in the pink. There were some close calls. One of the requirements of a good gunpowder is to grind it finely, and that was always a chance for causing a spark. And one of the sparks flew into my gallon container of gunpowder and it broke the container, and the gunpowder spilled out on my wooden table. It was pretty hard to put out, but thankfully it wasn't under any kind of pressure at the time and just kind of sizzled. But there was a scar there that indicated that accident. One of the things I really got into was a water-activated firework. It contained ammonium nitrate, zinc, some other things. And I would make a cone of tin foil, put the regular firework material at the bottom, and then the water-activated part on top. And you stand back and squirt, with a squirt gun. One Halloween, we set those up on random corners in LA where I grew up. And one of my friends really got a thrill out of peeing on top of that cone to start it going. One had to be careful in getting the right amount of water into the cone, though. If there was too much, it would put it out, and not enough, it wouldn't get started. My friend across the street had to go to the emergency room because he put his face too close. And the parents of another friend wouldn't let him come over for the rest of the summer after we singed all of his hair. The culmination of that phase of my career ended with the bomb. I lived a few doors down from a large park in LA, and it was undeveloped, just trees and grass. And there was some talk of building a baseball mound and a backstop and a dugout, all those things. Even back then, my friends and I were nature lovers, and we decided to put a stop to any development plans by blowing up the pitcher's mound. My friend worked in the stockroom for the chemistry lab at the high school, and provided all the materials we needed for a rather large bomb, maybe a quart, 2 quarts, mostly gunpowder, ammonium nitrate, magnesium powder, and we put a couple of M80s on top of it, extended the fuse, and made plans to detonate the device during halftime at one of our basketball games. So we lit the fuse, ran as fast as we could. Our girlfriends were waiting in the getaway car, and we were witness to a very loud explosion and a lot of white light. The next morning, my parents asked me if I heard or I saw the explosion last night, but my alibi was I was at a basketball game. I started college as a chemistry major, hoping to begin my own line of fireworks at some point, but I was dissuaded and steered into medicine instead, which helped me become a lot more circumspect in my experiments. But I got the last laugh in some ways, moving from outer fireworks to inner fireworks with my psychedelic work, which is another story. Thank you for watching, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Take care until next time.